Hey, Tim Russell here from Multipart Finance, and today I want to talk about what I think is the hardest move to do in finance, which is the dreaded upgrade. Now, the reason why it's hard is because there's only really three options and none are ideal. The first and most conservative is sell, lock in your profit, rent for a bit, and then buy. The second, which most people like to explore first, is bridging finance, which is when you buy first, then you have 6 months to sell, and then you reduce your loan on the bridging piece. And the third, and probably the most risky, is to buy first, buy on a delayed settlement, list your property and sell, and then have a simultaneous settlement. Today I want to talk about bridging finance, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways lenders look at it so you can understand if it's the right decision to you. So let's have a look at that now.
Okay, so let me give you an example. So in this example, we're going to presume that your current place that you got is worth $550, you've got a loan balance of $320, and you've saved up $113,000. And the next property that you want to buy is worth $850. So let me walk you through what the true cost would be if you were to sell and then buy. So if you're selling, the sale price is $550, you've got to pay an agent 2%, you're going to have conveyancing fees and you've got to pay out your loan, but you'll be left with $216,500 to use towards your next purchase. If we look at that next purchase, then stamp duty cost for a property worth $850 is about $34,000. You've got those $216,500 from the sale of your current place. You've put in your current savings of $113,000. So it means that your end loan is going to be just over $500,000 and an LVR of 66%. So if you were to do bridging, which means that you need to borrow the cost of the first place before you sell your next place, what most banks will do is they'll say, okay, look, your current property, we can see that it's worth $550 and you want to buy something for $850. What they'll say is, okay, for this next property, do you want to put in your savings? And obviously you say yes. So they'll say, okay, well, if we look at the loan that we're going to give you to buy your next property, it's going to be about $771,024. Well, I say about, but it's pretty specific. So they'll give you that money, but what they'll say is that, you know, you've got to pay back that loan plus your current loan, and you've got to obviously service both loans for us to give you the bridging finance. Now, for most people, that's not going to work. They're going to fail servicing because, remember, the loan they're actually going to end up with is only just over $500,000. So, in my opinion, it's unfair to ask the client to be able to service that. But if they have to make those repayments, they're sort of stuck. Now, there are lenders out there that look at things a bit differently. St. George is one of them, and I want to walk you through how their bridging calculator works. Okay, so this is St. George's serviceability, their bridging calculator. So to walk you through how this works with them, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, look, enter your current details, so value $550, loan of $320. The place that you want to buy is $850, and you want to get a loan of $850. So they'll say, all right, well then, the two loans combined is going to be 1.17 mil. We've got to factor in stamp duty costs of attached to the place that you're looking to sell, and you're going to put in your own funds as well. So really, the loan that you're going to have is $1,091,000 that we're going to give you first off. So what they'll then do is they need to say, what we're going to do is we're going to give you this money, but we need to factor in a couple of things. With bridging finance, the way that it works is that you've got 6 months to sell your property. So what they'll do is they'll factor in interest attached to a full 6 months of you selling your property. And that's this figure here of $27,000. So then they amp up the peak debt to $118,322. Then what they'll do is they'll say, well, look, let's just say that in 6 months, the property market tanks. So we've got to factor in that your place is worth 15% less than what it's currently worth. So we're going to take off $82,500, and then we also need to factor in selling costs to pay the real estate agent, conveyancer, etc. So if we look at this conservative view, then we think the end debt that you're going to get is $666,572. Now remember, the one that we had, the true end debt is only going to be $504,000. So they're being quite conservative there. But the key difference is they say, okay, well look, we understand that we need to give you essentially, the 850 plus your current loan. So we need to give you $1,091,000. But what we'll do is we'll split that up. So we'll recognize the end debt that you're going to have to pay. So you'll have to make principal and interest payments on that. But for the in-between loan or the bridging loan, what we'll do is we'll just allow that to capitalize over time. So yes, there's a cost to it, but there's not a true cash flow cost because the loan just simply capitalizes for the 6-month period that you take to sell your current property. Now, the way that St. George make their money on this is they'll give you what the normal rate would be for the end loan, but with the capitalized interest loan, they'll do that at their standard variable rate, which will be 1 and a bit % above what you'll end up having. So that's how the St. George servicing bridging process works. And to be honest, they've got a good niche in the market because it's very difficult for most people to service both loans. So this makes a lot more sense. So there you go, that's how bridging finance works and the options for you to consider. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or get in contact with us via our website, www.multipartfinance.com.au.